right, where to begin? This is Bipolar INFJ. Welcome to the first video of my channel. I have bipolar 1 disorder. I was diagnosed when I was 21 after a suicide attempt. Tried to eat a bottle of Tylenol. I was fucking stupid. So what they first did is a psychologist put me on Paxil, which is a generic form of Prozac. Boy, that shit didn't work. Like with any antidepressant with bipolar 1 disorder, it'll help pretty much, it can eliminate the depressive episodes, but not the mania so much, and can actually magnify the mania to a great degree. With Paxil, contains sulfa, which we've discovered I was allergic to sulfa. So what it is, it put me in a highly agitated state, mean, and I felt like my skin was going to fucking crawl off my body. So the doctors pulled me off that and decided to put me on Zoloft. Well, Zoloft completely eliminated the depression, but over time it began to numb my emotions. And as the years went by, it began to magnify the mania, and I began to become very mean and eventually violent. When it started to get magnified is when I was in my second marriage, and the only one in which I had children. And I was detached from my kids. I wasn't emotionally there for them. I didn't have any feelings, which isn't fair to them at all. And it did cause its own problems for their psyches. Yeah, yay me. And poor kids. I mean, I'm fucked up. I was fucked up then, I'm fucked up now. Just not as much as I was fucked up. Well, I began to take the frustrations out. I was verbally aggressive, verbally abusive, but I wasn't physically with my kids. Eventually, the physical came out against my ex-wife, their mom. Now, she didn't deserve that level of treatment. She wasn't a good person by any stretch of the imagination. She was fake as fuck. But I discovered her doing some really disgusting shit, which is not going to get into that here. But that really magnified that behavior. And my violence would start with just by throwing things, eventually throwing them at people. And it escalated. And I stopped taking the Zoloft because I wanted to be able to feel love, affection for my kids. I took that. I stopped taking that. The manic episodes continued. Depression began to set in. And depression episodes could be debilitating. I had trouble getting out of bed, just lay there. Work was, I was always flipping jobs throughout my whole life. I've had such a varied fucking career. We'll get into that later. I'm going to try to stay on topic. And it's very tough for me to stay on topic at times. Suffice it to say, things got really bad. Then in 2010, I got a new doctor and talked about bipolar disorder. He decided to put me on lamotrigine. Well, lamotrigine began to help, but it took a few years of adjustments and testing it out to see what the levels I needed to be on. So now I'm on 200 milligrams a day. My depressive episodes, I am very functional. I can hold a job. I can do things. It doesn't debilitate me at all, and they're very mild. I've had 3 severe manic episodes now in 13 years. Usually extreme duress will put me in one, and I just recently had one a few weeks ago. And in my manic episodes, I get agitated. Can get mean, can get angry. There's been a couple times I've went on buying sprees in the past. If I have a lot of money, buying shit on eBay and Amazon that just fucking clutters up the place I live. It's jacked up. So I try to sell some of the shit. It's a pain in the ass. So I want that at the time, or I want this movie, and watch it once or read it once, and it just sits there, and I don't have the room for it. So I've been working on that, not buying stuff. And so far I've been pretty successful with it. But with my bipolar 1 disorder no one with bipolar disorder, no two people are the same. We're all different. It doesn't matter what you read or what some of the clinicians say. And I've got, of course, bipolar 1, but I also have hypomanic episodes with it. And those can be fucking fun. You can feel on top of the world for 1 to 4 days. And it's like you can do anything. And just happy, horny as hell. The mania, though, episodes, those aren't fun. Those are when I can get mean, I get dark. Very hypersexual still. And those can last a few weeks. And I am an illustrator. I do artwork, and I'll start doing really dark art with those times. Back in the day, in teenage years, in my 20s, when I was untreated or on the wrong medications, my artwork was always dark. Oh, by the way, I'm 50 years old. Be 51 in September. Been told I don't look my age, which is great. And it just makes life interesting. Not always in a good way. Relationships never work out. And on top of my bipolar 1 disorder, I also have anxiety disorder, which is a treat, and attachment disorder, anxious preoccupied. That's a real fucking treat. And that all stems from growing up in years of abuse from my mother, who has has been at home. I don't see her. I don't really talk to her. But I felt guilty, and I did call her on Mother's Day. Wish her happy Mother's Day. She actually started crying. I don't know how to react to that. But I remember starting at age 4, she would get very abusive. She broke a toy over my head. I was out in the neighborhood playing Robin Hood. It's a little yellow bow with little wooden arrows with red suction cups on it. I was happy as hell. Came back home and she started screaming at me in the kitchen. Didn't know where I was. Started hitting me and wailing on me and took the bow and broke it over my back. Later that day, she apologized. She duct taped it up and gave it back to me, but I put it in the closet. I'd never touched it again. Every time I'd open the closet to get toys out, I'd see that, and it just seared into my memory. And over the years, every time my father would go out of town, he was a big into hunting, so he was gone a lot of the times. She would target me. She'd turn on me. Tell me that she wished I wasn't born. She hated me, that I smelt bad. Just all that. And it was a constant thing. Then she'd turn around when she felt bad and buy me something, like buy me a toy. And over the years, I began to trigger my response of not liking physical gifts, because it harkened back to that. So as I got older, Christmas, I became a complete asshole on Christmas. Hated Christmas. To this day, I really don't like that fucking holiday. It's not a good holiday. Not for me. I like Halloween. I like creepy and evil shit. That's just me. But the years of abuse continued. And then when I was 16, I finally snapped and hit back and beat her unconscious. I'm not proud of that at all. But my anger had flared beyond belief. And I've been in therapy. I've had several therapists. I had a therapist a couple of years ago. She was the best and helped me learn a lot of techniques. Taught me a lot of things. Even encouraged shadow work, which I didn't start until recently. And that's been beneficial. And I've had a series of tests on that. Mood disorder. IQ tests in high school. I was bored, not challenged, and I eventually tested a very high IQ. Not going to list what it is, but it's in the very upper superior range. And of course, down the road, we learned that did the Myers-Briggs personality test, which is interesting. I turned out as being INFJ, and it all fits my personality, being empathic, which is a fucking bitch. It's a bitch, especially being bipolar 1, anxious preoccupied, and anxiety with that. Choices are never bad. I don't like being around people, don't like crowds. I really don't like people. I view most people as stupid, because a lot of them are. There's just no question about it. And with the problems I had growing up, I became very agreeable, became nice guy, tried to suppress my dark side, which is my anger, my anxiety, my fear. But my mother made me afraid. I was afraid to go on road trips, afraid to go out of town with friends, and I'd have such anxiety. I didn't like leaving. And I didn't understand why the fuck that was. And it just really messed me up, really hampered me on a lot of things. I got accepted into an art school in San Francisco, but I couldn't bring myself to go because of that anxiety. I just couldn't do it. And it was very debilitating. And that's something I've been working on. I've gotten over that a lot. And then I'd have to go out, if I had to go to an unfamiliar place, anxiety, I'd get sick to my stomach, couldn't eat, nausea. I don't throw up. I rarely ever fucking throw up. I can get food poisoning and not vomit. My body will just process it. Don't know why. We'll get into later videos of a lot of the shit I've been through where I should be dead multiple times over. And I'm not. It's like I can't be fucking killed. I don't understand. But that's for another time. And I think I'm going through possible slight manic episode right now because it always plays follow the conversation, which is always fun. If I go on a date, and the first date, if I'm having a little bit of mania, I talk all over the place. It's just constant. And of course, they never want to see me again because, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So I try to tell them right off the bat, bipolar 1 disorder, try to, because there's a stigma to it, just like there is with personality disorders, the cluster Bs, which I feel bad. I dated a couple, one I absolutely fell over hills in. Talk about that later. I'm not going to get into that right now, or names, won't do that. But lately, I've been trying to focus on this thing and shadow work and understanding more, and it's scary as hell, man. It gets scary as hell, people. It can trigger shit. I don't know what to do. Just take my meds, meditate, try to work on myself. It's all I can do. Well, this is the first video. There'll be many more to follow. Right now, I'm in a good mood. I'm not really in asshole mode, which is good, because I can switch into asshole mode and be a real prick to people. working on that too. But sometimes I like it. Sometimes it's good. It's beneficial. Keeps people away from me. All right, people, have a good day. Take care. Try to be a good person. Bye-bye.